Hi there, welcome to Floating in Books. Today I'm going to be telling you all about my December coloring challenge. Welcome to everyone watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This is going to be a quick little video where I will tell you a little bit about the Huldrafolk Nordic Winter by Agda that I've decided to give myself a bit of a challenge with when it comes to coloring. I'm filming this on my phone because I thought I could film this in my coloring spot, and my makeup has been on all day. I actually forgot to film this video as I was filming some other videos today, and I was like, I might as well. So I'm in my cozies and I'm about to color another page in this coloring book. So the reason why I set myself this challenge is actually quite simple, because I have been coloring for almost a year now, and I realized that I hadn't really colored a full coloring book yet. I've been doing pages here and there. I wasn't super consistent, especially over the summertime. I wasn't really into coloring. And as the weather started to turn and things got colder, I really found myself going back to it. I love coloring as like a late night activity that doesn't involve any screen time, which is why I love it. And it's just been such a relaxing hobby to do. So even after like a full day of work, I sometimes sit down and do like 1 or 2 pages. And I was like, how fun could it be to challenge myself to post every single day on TikTok? So maybe if you have already been following me on TikTok, because that's where I post most of my coloring content, of course, I've just found that TikTok makes it super easy to do like quick short little clips of all of my pages, and that way I can still share it with people, which I enjoy. And so yeah, I decided to go with this book because it is the Nordic Winter, so it has Christmassy pages, but not all of it screams Christmas. I did buy a dedicated Christmas book right after summer because I was like, when I started coloring last February, we were heading into spring, so I feel I have a lot of like spring pages, but I don't have too many like wintry things, you could say. So I wanted to do some wintry pages, check that out, and do all that. So I have been challenging myself to color every single day. This is going to be the only video I do about this little challenge for myself, and I think this will also be my final coloring video of the year. But I thought I could show you the pages I've done so far, and if you want to see more of what I color in this little book, you can have a look at my TikTok, which is linked in the description box down below. But it's Floating in Dreams _ because Floating in Dreams was already taken when I made the account. So it's called Floating in Dreams _ and that's how you'll find me. So yeah, I'm doing a bit of coloring, and before I sit down and do that tonight, I thought I could show you. So this is what the book looks like. And then inside you just have your opening page. And then there's always this like starter page in all of these books, and here's the one that I turned it into. It was my first time trying to color snow, and I hadn't selected the most exciting like color palette for this one, I felt, so I felt very limited. And I tried to do a little bit of the green in the sky, but I didn't like how it came out, so I kind of like tried to blend it out a little bit more. I liked it okay. It wasn't the most successful one. I thought it was a pretty difficult one to put together. There are quite a lot of indoorsy scenes in this book. So the first true page was this one. And in here, I decided to work with some greens and some yellows and some reds to have like the festive Christmassy colors. And then just loads of browns to really tie it in. And I really tried to make this straw look as realistic as possible, and then have a little bit of glow from the candle reflecting on these characters. And I do really like the way this turned out. I didn't love the red tone that I had selected for the bottle, but it was like the only thing that I was like, I can still make that work. So I blended a lot of coloring pencil over that to make it work. And then I think this has to be one of my favorite pages in the book so far. This is also the cover page of the book. And this is what I turned it into. I really have been enjoying coloring with limited color palettes. And this is one that I had selected. So I had some like olivey green things in there. Again, some browns, some like yellows and stuff. And then when you blend them together, you get all of these different shades. That's why I love working with alcohol markers. My first time making a thatched roof, and I think it worked out really, really well. I really liked how the ground came out as well. I like the little bubbling cauldron here, and I like the little character details I ended up making as well. I always like to have a couple of elements in my coloring pages that are flat, that don't have any sort of texture or like anything like that to it. I don't love the snow in these pages. I think my snowy pages become better from this one onwards. This is another one that I'm super happy with. Again, worked with a limited color palette, so all the colors do come back. And I just really like how that sort of steely blue with the grays and then the browns and yellows and the bright blues really came together. This was, of course, a very flat page, and I just decided to make it snow and have the little character on the platform be nicely protected by the little awning here. And there's like, it's covered in snow here, and then just have the snowy scene where her friend is leaving on the train. I didn't have a green, so the garland on the front of the train isn't green, but I made it yellow with like blue dots because then it would still go with the color story. But here, I'm not sure you can see, but I actually used a little bit of glitter marker in the snow, and it actually worked out really well. I really like doing like a pastel-y base, and then the smoke, I made it super billowy with some acrylic markers as well. Then here I used a color palette by another creator called Terra Coloring. I've been discovering them on TikTok, and they do a lot of really cool limited color stories, and I'm like, I can see if I can play with that. It's like a little candy gift shop kind of thing, where they are hard at work making everything, bringing it together. And I had like, I think 5 shades, and it was like this corally pink, like a soft buttery yellow, a purple, a blue, and that was it really. So I had to somehow make that work. And like a deeper red shade as well. That was what's in there. So I really struggled making this together, and I really had to blend these colors a lot to get this to where I wanted it to go. And I always feel if your background is a little bit boring, just add dots. It always works. Then here again, I worked with a limited color story that I had generated using the Coolors app. It's spelled Coolors. And if I don't know what to do on a page, I just use that app to generate one of their color stories. And this is what came out. It was 5 shades. I love this guy in the background. I wish I had done some like more trees with some alcohol markers, but it's fine. I made it very snowy, and the characters are like sitting on a patch that's like bare. And then I like the teals and like the pinky purples and the way this came together. I really liked how everything here blended. And then I did already do this effect. This went viral over the summertime or like early fall. It's like a grayscale with the highlights in a rainbow color. And I did it on a page from one of the Miss Kitsch books with the frogs. And I did like it, but I didn't like how I did the grayscale. So this time around, I really wanted it to be like darker in the background and like lighter on the characters so that it really looks like it's a glow from the window going into the page. And I think that worked out. And I tried to do a bit of a glitter background with this one. Really happy how this like moon window situation came out. That's the thing I like best about this page. And then what is currently very trending is a gingerbread effect. And I live in the Netherlands. We really don't do gingerbread houses all that much, but I like playing with these colors. I went in with too thick of a marker on the little guy here. So I did use different markers for the little horse in the background. It was always my plan to make him a gingerbread man, and the other 2 were just for fun. You live and you learn, you could say. And here I'm also starting to become a little bit better at creating snowy scenes, I feel. And then one of the most viral pages from this book is this one, the little staircase. And I knew from what I had seen other people do that I wanted to give this a old English country home sort of feel, and that's what I went with. I decided to go with one of my favorite color palettes, which is the grayish greens with like the burgundy reds. Works every time. And in here, I'm not sure if you can see, if I move the page, but I actually use metallic markers to create the details around the artwork here and on the wallpaper. And also here in the staircase, I added a little bit of gold. And also here on the stairs, I made these little runners that keep the carpet in place. And that way I feel it really nicely came together. And the wallpaper design, I did practice. I went for a like fleur-de-lis kind of situation. I thought that would be very classic. I'm not much of a drawer. I can color, but I can't draw. So that was a challenge for me for sure. Then another beautiful, more limited color story from Terra Coloring that I used to create this page. I didn't really know what to do with this because it's a boring scene in my book. But I was able to blend the stones here in the corner with some beautiful like browny gray shades, like how the horse came out. I kept it pretty simple. And then the character, I made that person like a little bit more blue, again with the hay that's lying about, which I really enjoyed. I was able to put some texture in there, as well as the little door. So I really liked how this color story came together in the end, especially for it being a page that I didn't enjoy much. And then I wanted to do a very basic coloring. We see all of these people doing so many elaborate colorings that they take days for. I'm doing this besides already filming content for my YouTube channels and my job and all that, which is crazy busy at the moment. So I decided to keep a very basic coloring. So I just colored everything flat. I went color by color. I went with all the festive colors. So a nice bright blue, a bright red, a bright green, a bright yellow. And I decided to make the colors pop up in every single part of the page. And then they just use 2 shades of brown to go for a lighter bit and a darker bit, and then just added texture with different gel pens I have. And I used a charcoal white pencil to create this like foggy window situation, which I thought was a really nice touch there. So you don't always have to go all out on every single coloring, but I knew that this page, because when I saw the inside of the book, this was one of the pages I looked forward the most. And I knew I wanted to make the bear a polar bear. And I knew this had to be the perfect icy winter scene. And I think I did a really good job. The snow came out really well. The bear came out really well. I really like the shading around its body that I managed to do. The character's hair I enjoy. I did a couple of mistakes in the sky though. I tried to do like a aurora lights effect that I saw someone do, but the sky turned out to be too light for it to show up, so that didn't really work. And then I just worked with some blues, some grays, and as you can see, some purpley pinks, and it works really well. And this is the page I'm so far the proudest of. It did take me all night to do that though. That was like 3 hours of coloring. I usually don't spend that much time on my pages. I think most of my pages are like an hour and a half because that way I can keep it fun for myself. And then the final one I finished yesterday. By the time you're watching this video, I will probably already have done 3 extra pages or something. But I did this one. Another cozy scene, again with the Christmassy vibes. I went with the red, green, and the yellow, which again comes out in several parts of the page here. And then I just used some grays and some browns to create the background. I did the stone wall all by myself. And I decided to contrast a little bit with the background of the cooker here because I thought that could work out really well. I don't like the floor. That's the only thing I don't like about this one. But again, a successful page that I ended up, again, not liking the look of when I looked at it in the book, but that I feel turned out pretty well in the end. Next one is, again, one I'm really looking forward to. So that's what I'm going to color today. And that's just a quick little update on my little December coloring challenge. I still have about half the book left. So follow me over on TikTok if you want to see me complete the rest of the book and see what other color stories and fun coloring pages I come up with. So thanks so much for watching this video today, you guys. I really hope you liked seeing my sort of coloring progress. And like I said, I will do coloring videos every once in a while if I have enough to talk about, but I don't want to make it like too regular of a thing here on the channel. I definitely want to make the focus like books and fashion, but as we still need to discuss when I do some like end of year videos next week and the week after, because I have been coloring, I've been reading less. So this is a hobby that's sort of like in the way of that now. But I still love to read. I actually read a couple of really good things, and I've been discovering that I really enjoy listening to audiobooks while I'm coloring. So podcasts and audiobooks have been really helpful in this entire process. So stay tuned for more. I will be back with a new video next week. So See you then, and check out my main channel if you want makeup videos, floating in dreams. So hope to see you in one of those spaces, or of course my TikTok if you want more coloring content. And then I hope to see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye.